We now move on to the Market Watch. This is in collaboration with Biztech Asia, our colleague Brian Fernandez, with David Kuo, founder of the Smart Investor Singapore, on the Asian Midday Market Watch. This interview was done yesterday. Take a look.
Now, essentially, one of the things that the crux of everything, and we could distill it down to really simple terms, is it going to be a 50 basis point increase or a 75 basis point increase? And that's what it is, isn't it?
That is essentially it. And again, you know, whether it is 50 or 75 basis points increase in interest rates, people will again take away from that whatever they want. If it's only a 50%, a 50 basis point increase, people will say, oh, there's going to be more down the road. It's going to be worse down the road because 50 basis point isn't really going to cut it when you've got inflation running at 9%. But if it's a 75 basis point, then they might say, oh, okay, he's done all the heavy work now, and so therefore we can expect slightly lower increases in the future. So again, as I said, people will take away from that speech whatever they want. But ultimately, you cannot get away from the fact that inflation in the US is high. It is up around 9%. Core inflation is around 5%. So those inflation numbers are terrible, Brian. The other thing is, I've just come back from the UK, and the final headline that I read in the newspapers before I got on my flight was that they are predicting that inflation in the UK could hit 18%, Brian, right? I mean, can you imagine 18% inflation? And what is that going to do to consumer confidence? And some of the strange things that you read at the moment are these research reports that say that consumers are very concerned about inflation, which they are in the UK, but it doesn't seem to be impacting in any way the behavioral patterns of people. Whilst they are very concerned about inflation, and people are talking about inflation all the time, the restaurants are still busy. So people are still carrying on spending as though it's okay, it's not a problem. And I think a lot of people are expecting governments to step in and help them. And they think that, well, the central banks may increase interest rates,